how is your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you unintentionally.
Look at them, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I, too, am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
Around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor. Happy Friday to all of you. This is a really kind of a spectacular event of sorts. What you're about to witness is nothing short of wizardry, I would say, and here's why. It's not just because I am going to attempt, from my vantage point, again, I never hide my biases, to unpack the extremely complex situation in the Middle East, but now Hollywood has entered the chat. So if they have the audacity, so do we. So I'm going to attempt doing this. I'm literally, I'm actually gonna make this a little higher. I'm doing this in my underwear, but you're also going to see a form of mental wizardry because a mere hour ago, I was in the middle of the debauchery in downtown Broadway, Nashville, because maybe I'll disclose at some point or another, but let's just say that I have to do other things outside of this lovely programming to keep this programming afloat. You know, no, I'm not a stripper. Okay, at least not yet. Shit, no, that life ain't for me. Like, this is my pole of life. You know what I'm saying? This mic here. So I went from being around 20-somethings and older, just getting smashed, tourists, right, in the middle of the day, 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon, and being around all of that chaos, to now diving in straight up to Israel, Gaza, and Hollywood. So yeah, welcome to Taylor's bipolar brain. This is the mental gymnastics I'm going to perform for you tonight. But lucky for you all, I am very flexible. And take that as you will. Mentally flexible, you know what I mean? No, guys, we're going to try to make sense of this. It's coming up again. You know, no one likes a, light Friday chat after the end of a long, completely mentally taxing week with talking about, the Middle East and Israel, but we're here to do it. No, but, again, I'm never hiding where I'm coming from. And again, it has, reemerged. Netanyahu talked at the UN. Trump said there may be a peace deal with Gaza that's on the brink. We have Hollywood now signing boycott, protests, or whatever petition. I don't even know what these people, I don't even know if they know. Then we have the counter ones. Like, it's all Jennifer Lawrence now, like for some reason making her new movie PR junket, like Jennifer Gaza may as well be, like, I don't even know. Okay. So we're going to try to just common sense, level-headed it, at least from my perspective, because let me tell you all something, the old saying, the old fable, if you will, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. Yeah. All this death to Israel, death to America stuff, call me crazy. Maybe it is the little schizo Taylor split brain bipolar going on, but I don't know. I believe them when they say that. So, and just a little fun story before we kind of get into this here tonight. At the, how do I say, bar, for lack of a better word, I was going to say like lifestyle, hospitality, what the fuck, venue, whatever, at the bar. I was wearing my Star of David. And, you never know what kind of, sometimes I'm like, am I going to get the dirty eye? Thank you very much in large part to, no one other than Candace Owens. Like, how could we forget? We're going to get to her. But it was actually very sweet because I had a lot of people, men and young women, being like, I love your necklace. And I kind of like gave them a little wink. So it's kind of like in solidarity, like my Jewish bros and sisters, you know what I mean? But also kind of funny is I met an out-of-towner because it is all tourists. And we were talking about just whatever, the podcast and what I do and my age and all this. Like, what's my age again? Honestly, Blink-182, help me, for crying out loud. What is my age again? And I was like, I don't know. This whole Charlie Kirk thing has me. I'm like, I'm deep in my feelings about my age, and life is so short. And he died so young, and I have so much to accomplish. And this guy was like, it cracks me up how it never it's sport. It's sport. Like, I love seeing how guys and men's brains melt when you're hot and smart and opinionated about things that matter. He literally was like, you just mentioned Charlie Kirk while we're here. Will you marry me? That's literally what he said. So, taking names and breaking hearts, ladies, just learn a fact and you'll see where it goes. What is up, Pyramid 7? Pyramid 7, we are talking Israel, Gaza, Hollywood. Are you up for it? And I was just saying how I love breaking brains when, men see a hot chick and they're like, oh, okay, she's fun and entertaining, whatever. But then when you're smart on top of it and dropping facts and opinions about current and world events, how they're just like, turn around on one knee. No. All right, guys. So this all started. I'm like, so eons ago, thousands of years ago, the war in the Middle East, the conflict over the Promised Land started with Jennifer Lawrence. No. All right. But no, Jennifer Lawrence was promoting this new movie. And I don't know how it came up, but she talked about the conflict going on in the Middle East. And she said, what is happening? Yeah, plot twist, guys. I was talking about Pyramid 7. I didn't want to blow your cover there. I didn't want to put you on blast. No. She said that what we're seeing is no less than a genocide. And she goes, I'm terrified for my children. And at first I was like, bitch, what? Like, what? Do you have Palestinian children in Gaza we don't know about? Like, what does that have anything to do with your children, right? But then she said, and I was like, all right, I get this. She basically was saying that the state of politics right now in the US has no respect, no integrity, no empathy. And I actually agree with her, right? Like, it is quite barbaric, as we've seen. But then, so this is like what they do. Like, first I'm like, no, bitch. Then, yeah, so what Sabrina Carpenter said too in Italy. But then they kind of get you and you're like, you're making sense. And then they lose the plot again. And you're like, you just had me. And then they have to keep talking and they lose the plot. And she says it won't be long until this is happening at home. Okay. So let me be loud and clear just about how ignorant this statement is. Okay. Because she's saying, like, what we're seeing, she's calling Israel genocidal. And by the way, I'm going to preface this whole thing by saying the images out of what's happening in Gaza's level, it's horrific. I was watching some of the footage of children who've been killed, who've had body parts. It's horrific. Like, you can barely watch it, right? So I'm in no way this maniacal, like, they all have to die, yeah, pounding on my chest, like, go Israel. I don't want to see them die. I'm not this just maniacal nutcase, unlike Candace Owens likes to claim. However, can Hamas say the same? We're going to get to that. But this is why it is so ignorant, because first of all, just Google, just take your phones out. Oh, wait, are you on your phone right now? Okay. Just imagine this multidimensional experience. Look up Jennifer Lawrence's 2015 Vanity Fair photo spread in which the bitch is posing butt ass naked with a huge snake wrapped around her body. Okay. Like, Britney Spears thought. Britney Spears paved the way. Like, that was like nothing. That was like a day at the zoo. Britney Spears' VMA's performance with the snake for this Jennifer Lawrence naked snake cock innuendo all over her body. Okay. Just imagine how Hamas would treat such a woman. I don't want to get too graphic here on a Friday night, but you just do with that. Let your imagination run. Let your imagination run wild, right? And it's like, let's not forget that they are a ruthless, extreme Islamic jihadist terrorist organization. again, don't want to get too graphic on a Friday, but like it's happy hour somewhere. But just take a shot with this, with the fact that on October 7th, they infiltrated Israel, dismembered women, and raped their dead corpses that were dismembered, throwing their body parts around in front of their friends. This is who, and this is why it's so roundabout, because I'm not saying she and the other celebrities are out here being like, go Hamas, but it's like kind of like, where is this energy when you guys are signing anti-Israel studio shit? Like, get your head together, people. And this is why this whole thing bugs the shit out of me, because again, people lose sight of the fact that Israel represents democracy, the only democratic state in the Middle East. That is what they represent. So that's what bugs the shit out of me, because these people want to go on and on free speech. For Jimmy Kimmel having paid vacation for a weekend is nothing. How about getting dismembered, raped, stoned to death, thrown off buildings? Like, you want to talk to me about being free? You want to talk to me about this? Let's talk about it, bitch. Let's talk about it. I'm feisty today. Yeah, Pyramid 7, right? Yeah, damn, that's the thing. So it's like, again, when they say death to Israel, death to America, here's the thing, Jennifer Lawrence, you want to get worried about it won't be long before this is happening at home. You're exactly right, because we have people like you subconsciously or consciously being the Hamas cheerleaders. So you're exactly right, actually. It's not too far, because how many of them are not only indoctrinated and radicalized here who are Americans, but God knows how many are basically like living under our beds at night. Like, literally, who even knows, right? Thanks to Biden, whoever being like, everybody, come one, come all, terrorists, even better. Like, so you're exactly right, Jennifer Lawrence. It's not too long before this shit hits home. And that is when it's going to get really scary. So again, I am by no means being like, well, you got to take them all out. We don't care about the lives of Palestinians. Nobody's saying that. But it's like, how about putting things in perspective of what their mission is? They don't give two flying fucks about their kids, their citizens. And I'm going to prove it to you just right now, as if we don't have the proof already that their people are pawns. They don't care. They don't care. They want to have their radical jihadist mindset implemented across. They want to ruin American democracy. Like, I don't know what you get. Good morning. Like, do you think Jennifer Lawrence, hey, what's up, Glockner? Glockner coming in with the burns. Jennifer Lawrence is overrated and dull. That is really funny. Do you think, though, guys, I mean, on a show of hands, if Jennifer Lawrence or any of these jibber-jabbing celebrities bothered to give 2 seconds of research or put 2 minutes of thought into any of this? Literally, how? You can't honestly tell me. So that's what's really gross about that whole thing. And by the way, did you guys see the new CNN interview that came out today, in which senior Hamas official, I was like, okay, CNN, shit, like CNN coming out of the woodwork here. I am so sorry. Like, these are just, oh my, they're really taking over the airwaves here. I'm sorry, guys. Life's all about balance. So we're going to talk about this really scary and sad and bleak universe. And I'll give you these, right? Because again, it's about balance, and we're just trying to keep our mental sanity, for crying out loud. So there's a new interview in which CNN and the correspondent is really pushing this Hamas senior official. Ghazi Hamad is his name. And the correspondent is pressing him and saying, Israel didn't unleash this wrath until you guys did what you did. Like, it's because he argues what we've heard, right? Which is, our land has been occupied. This is the resistance. It's whatever it takes. It's not going to stop, right? Because that's what they're there. And as it seems, evidently, most of America's collegiate crowd thinks to justification, right? And the correspondent says, yes, but what we're seeing now, Israel didn't unleash this kind of wrath until what you guys went in. It's never been this bad until you guys went in and what you did on October 7th. But further, he really presses him and says, you can't honestly sit here and tell me. He literally says this. I was like, damn. I was like, did they cut the feed of the CNN to the senior correspondents? Because I'm impressed. But he's like, you can't honestly sit here across from me and tell me that you guys don't bear some responsibility for keeping your people, for gambling and playing this game with them. And essentially, I'm inferring this, but using them as pawns. And the way that he just skirts around it, it's why I see why America and its youth are so brainwashed, because he basically says, like, we will do whatever's necessary. October 7th was just like our opportunity. We've been, occupied and controlled for 76 years and, and all this. But you can see that he literally won't even address the fact that his own people are crying out, saying, stop this, end this. And the correspondent tries to show him videos of Palestinian people saying, stop gambling with our lives, like enough, stop gambling, adventuring with our lives, like it has to stop. And he basically, the Hamas official is just writes it all like, yeah, no, I know people are going to blame us, people are going to blame us, right? Again, we're seeing it right here. And Lord knows at this point how many people there are actually so indoctrinated. Like, how could we even know that? So the whole thing, it just makes me really ill. Like, this is terrorists. Like, why is this even, like, why are we negotiating with terrorists? And again, I'm not saying that it's just like go in and indiscriminately just kill everybody. And that's where Candace Owens has me so pissed off, because her rhetoric, and I'm so not this Jew. I'm so not the Jew to be like anti-Semitic, this. I'm going to get to it in a minute. But this is why, like, she's just pushed this thing incessantly. She co-opted and grifted off her own friend's death, for crying out loud. Couldn't even wait all of 5 minutes. Like, I was on Jews. I don't know. It's suspicious. Give her a receipt, bitch. Give her a receipt. What is this? The CVS one that never ends. Yeah, that's making up for all of Candace Owens' zero lack of receipts, right? Because the way she talks about Zionists, and at this point, don't give me this shit of, oh, Zionists, it's not the same as Jews. Basically, the way she describes it, I watch a lot of her stuff. It's one and the same, that they're satanic, demonic, evil. How else? I wrote this in my Substack. Well, shit, I would hate Jews if I weren't me. So that's what, again, like, all of this is just not put in perspective. It's not put in perspective. Instead, it's like, and I saw even on a show on PBD with the women panel with Jillian Michaels, like, it's just this thing that's like, oh, precious Israel. Even I saw, like, in the comments, people are just so writing this so hard and are so ignorant. They're like, oh, with Charlie Kirk, oh, Israel, quote, defending itself again. And it's like, you people literally don't even know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. So it just really grosses me out. And it's like, we see it right here. The proof is in the pudding. The proof, it's like, how many times do we have to learn this lesson? Don't you worry, guys, because I'm going to bring it back to bin Laden. Yes, I am. I'm going to bring it back to bin Laden on this Friday, because, the memory of him is in that cave somewhere, and I'm not forgetting. So, and neither is Tucker Carlson, by the way, which I can't wait to watch his 9/11 series. I'm just finishing the Bin Laden Netflix documentary, so that's why I'm on this. But it's all kind of like coincides. So I just hate to see, like, Hollywood and all these entities, like, doing the PR of Hamas. And they can't even be level-headed and be like, and look, that's the other thing. I understand why even a Charlie Kirk, who has been such a fierce advocate of Israel and Jews, by the way, Jesus was a Jew. Jesus was preaching the Jewish gospel. Let's not forget, was your homeboy, or a Megyn Kelly, right? I understand why they would be like, all right, it hasn't gone too far. Like, does the killing have to stop? That's totally understandable. At this point, I agree. I completely agree. But it's like, these people in Hollywood, they don't even have any nuance. Instead, it's like, Israel is genocidal. And in fact, it's going to come here. You're exactly right, because the radical Islamists are going to come here. if they're not already, and then show us. Remember September 11th, bitch? Okay. So I had a little sidebar about Sabrina Carpenter in Italy. I guess it's just celebrities say the darndest things, while we're on this quick little sidebar. She did an interview in Vogue Italia, and she looks so fire, by the way. And she says how she spent time, in Europe and just how it's so much more cultured. And she's like, I've learned more talking to people in Europe in 2 minutes than I have in America in 20 years. And it's just, she's kind of like getting dragged and ridiculed for it because it's like, bitch, okay, you're like the most famous pop star on the planet right now. Are you just out talking to the Massimos and the Marias of the Italian streets, like in their cafes? Like, come on. And don't knock the US. Don't knock yes. I spend time today at the bar for the side job I told you about. I didn't get into detail, with the every person, with the everyman. And, are there some dense ones out there? Yes. Is the average person not bad? But don't knock the US peoples. We got a lot of wisdom and intellect to offer. Oh, Glockner, that's way off topic. Yeah, he's asking about Comey and J6. Rob is going to address that in his next episode, so stay in the one after this, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so so Bibi talked today at the UN, and it was a whole big thing because it was in New York, and as per usual, as per expected, because of all of this, there were just floods of people pro-Palestinian and the genocide in the streets of New York. Meanwhile, while Bibi was speaking, people there representing other countries, most of them walked out to protest. It was a whole thing. Yeah, that's okay. It's no worries. I'm on my little Hamas thing right now, Hamas in a pink shirt. I mean, nothing goes better, like birds of a feather. Nothing goes better together. Breaking brains here. And then, like I said, yes, Trump came out and said, there may be a promising, it looks like there's going to be a peace deal with Gaza, which we'll see about that, right? If so, that would be huge. But again, this gets me, and he even says, fighting for Israel is fighting for America. And I don't know, I've always been a little skeptical of Bibi's real motives and the way he's gone about things. By no means do I think that he is the Messiah, Jew haters think that Candace Owens is. But, at the same time, it's you just look at it for what it is, Israel being completely terrorized, antagonized by their neighbors for years. And I've said this before, but it's why won't other Arab countries take in these Palestinians? Why not? Couldn't possibly be because who knows how many are indoctrinated by Hamas philosophy. Couldn't possibly be because they know it's going to be an absolute shitstorm. I don't even know, but it's Israel's just always the dog. And it's just, I'm just getting really sick of it. And who again is the culprit for a lot of this, but Candace Owens. And like I said, I talked about her rhetoric and all this, and I can understand where, and I've said this from the start, similarly to what happened with BLM, we're seeing that happen with Jews, where it was if you didn't post, God forbid, if you forgot to post a black square that day, or if you forgot to go and visit the American history of slavery, I don't know, whatever it was, you were immediately deemed a racist, you were punished, perhaps got in trouble with your business. I've heard actual stories about this. And it almost had this reverse effect. I said this at the time, where it makes you be well, shit, why are you labeling me? I'm not that. And now I kind of want to be out of spite because now I'm pissed. You sort of resent it, right? Don't tell me that I'm that because I'm actually not. Do you want me to be? Are you egging me on to be? You want to go? You want to talk about mothers, white chicks? Which, by the way, how classic and timeless. I saw on Netflix last night. It's one of the most replayed movies on there. So it cannot be duplicated nor replicated. But yes, same thing here, where again, even if somebody who understandably, a Charlie Kirk or a Megyn Kelly, is a little bit look, I've been fiercely for you guys, but this is a lot. When does it stop? That's so understandable. And this is where Jews fuck themselves up. And I've tried to warn, again, no one listens to a blonde. I tried to say this, but when it's then having the actual audacity and balls the size of Texas to them call them anti-Semitic, like you've lost the plot. Like that is exactly the same sort of reaction that happened with BLM, where it makes people be like, well, you know what? If I'm such a Jew hater, then maybe I will be. Maybe I will be. You want it to, I'm not, but what do you want me to be? Do you like, it's again, it's like you resent it. And I don't like that. And I'm not for that. And that's where Jews go really hard and where it's like, you can be seen as bullies. Like, stop it, knock it off. I'm just looking at the comments here. Okay. So how this brings us to Hollywood is because these celebrities who, again, don't seem to understand that they live in the freest country in the world and are able to do what they do in it, expressing themselves, pushing the boundaries in art and thought and culture, why people from all around the world pack up their shit, come to Tinseltown and try to make it under the, big shiny lights. Like, gee, I don't know. And you guys are looking Gen Z entitled as fuck because you have completely lost sight of all of that. Like, I'm starting to be like, do you want to be run by terrorists? Like, are you jihad? Like, are you liking this lifestyle? Like, jihad, but make it cute. By the way, you know what that is, right? It's like a religious war with fucking terror. Jennifer Lawrence is hot. Just saying, she is hot. She is hot, but like also when you say things, make that hot too. Like, make the thoughts hot. Make the thoughts make sense. Is all I'm asking. So 5,000 stars signed a petition, which, like, this is their idea of like activism. It just cracks me up. It's like, I'm gonna sign this big bad thing. It's like, all right, okay, Amanda. Boycotting Israeli studios, including the usual suspect Mark Ruffalo, Emma Stone. And it was inspired by the apartheid in South Africa. This organization, when at the time during South Africa apartheid, when the studios refused to play movies there, like all this, okay, as if this is the same thing. It's like, read a book, crack open a book, like something, the news, like anything. But again, the news will have them brainwashed too. But like, again, guys, these are the people, like, you saw what Amanda Seyfried wrote about Charlie Kirk, right? She had the audacity to be like, he said hateful things that he wrote on Instagram. Like, name one. I'll wait. I have watched, I could literally do an oral, like, recite every single thing that he's ever said. I've been watching so much of his hours at this point of his footage. And I'm like, literally name one thing. So in a counteract to that one, you have 1,200 stars who, with the creative community for peace, is condemning that prior boycott. It's all just, honestly, it is just really something. It is just like a seesaw game from hell. I'd rather be on it like by myself at this point. I actually sent that to my boyfriend the other day. You know, the one from The Simpsons where he's on the seesaw by himself. I'm like, no, straight up vibes, because like I hate everybody. But anyways, so there were 1,200 of them, including Gene Simmons, obviously of Kiss, Sharon Osbourne, which I was surprised to see her there, Deborah Messing, except Mayim Balik, is that her name, from Big Bang Theory? And what they say is, and they're exactly right, these people just like catch themselves in their own web of fallacies and like confusion and convolution, basically, because what these people are saying is, by shutting out and boycotting against Israeli studios, which, by the way, again, like, represent democracy, and from what I read, actually had so many great projects about like Israel, Palestine, like the humanitarian part, the relationship, like bringing stuff to light. How just deciding like, nope, not going to work with them, condemn them, all this, that it's arbitrary censorship and erasure of art, and it's censorship to find common ground. And I thought, that is so true. That is so true. And again, like you have every right. You have every right to be like, I don't want to work with this or I don't want to work with that. That's fine. That's your right. But it's like when it comes to, again, like this, it's like it's soon enough, it's going to come back on you. Like, isn't this supposed to be the place of free, like the free marketplace of ideas and creativity and art and pushing the boundaries and evolving? Like it is totally arbitrary. And soon enough, like they're crying about Jimmy Kimmel, it'll come in on you and you and you and you and, you know, John and Rachel and everybody else. Like it's going to come back around on everybody. And so, you know, I don't know. I just think it's gross because at the end of the day, again, like what fuels my fire is freedom, is democracy. And way before now, everyone's like free speech, like, bitch, where were you 5 years ago? Okay. Yeah, I know. We've been talking about this. And that's why revisiting, see how it all comes back? It's like Celine Dion. It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now. I don't have my lighter, but I was going to do a little seance for you, like a little concert, you know? That's why watching the Bin Laden documentary, and I know I'm a little bit behind the party, is so enlightening because like we're so quick to forget. Like we're watching it happen now, but we're so quick to forget the horror. And it wasn't that different. Like he was literally, he wasn't even hiding it. He would broadcast it. He would broadcast wanting to literally kill every American, kill Western civilization, kill democracy, and exert his radical Islamic, and I'm not using radical like Fox News, the radical left, blah, 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 like straight up will execute you for being a woman and like showing a knee. I'm not kidding. Ideas onto the world. And after 9/11, I don't know, Pyramid 7, what you're laughing at, but I'll take it. Okay. Any laugh at my joke, you get points with me. But he wasn't hiding it. And after like, it's just so sad that we forget. So like everybody should watch that. Like the sheer horror that did occur that day. It's so, I mean, it's unbearable. It's unthinkable. And it was thousands of people killed. And Bin Laden went on to say, like, I won't stop until you're all dead. I won't stop. Like, what does that sound like? Couldn't possibly the senior leader of Hamas today going, we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. Again, they don't give two shits. They don't give two shits. And again, that is not me just recklessly being like, well, kill all the Palestinians. That's what it takes to wipe them out. I never said that. Nobody ever said that. I'm sorry, Candace Owens, because it's like your whole personality is like based on that thought. Nobody said that. But it's like, again, to put things into focus and prioritize and see what is actually happening and having nuance and fighting the right fights. So on a lighter note to end all of this, when it comes to democracy and the little baby piece of hope that I do have for the arts and creativity in Hollywood. Yeah, that's right. The Celine Dion, the little serenade. Yeah, not seance, serenade. You like that. By the way, this is a totally ADD thought, but earlier when I was naming the BLM stuff, like not posting a black square, I just made up like a slavery museum. I don't even know if that's a thing. But it's also like, remember, and by the way, I'm not making light of that. Of course, like we have, case in point with 9/11, like we have to remember our history so it does not repeat, you know, history repeats itself. Same thing, like when people tell you who they are, believe them. You know, again, death to Israel, death to America, like cute, has a ring to it. What I was thinking of is like, remember the book White Fragility when that was such a big thing at the time? It's like, you haven't read White Fragility. You haven't openly shit on yourself as a white person. You're a racist. Like all that is what I meant. But anyways, on a lighter note, you know, talking about, this is actually perfect before I get to my finale, Glockner. He said, I think, are you a he, by the way? Because I don't mean to be sexist here. I'm just assuming. It's the big T energy, the big tube, you know, YouTube energy here coming in. How did you not get annoyed when you did interviews with Holly Weirdos? Must have had a lot of patience. 100%. And it got more insufferable. because I was there in Hollywood from 2015. I was interviewing celebrities before that, but I was in Hollywood 2015 to 2020. So you can only imagine, right? And it was like right on the precipice of cancel culture at the end there. I left because of COVID, but it got completely insufferable. And truthfully, I mean, I don't know. It's partially like, I know you guys see my intro and it's like gassed up like me with all these celebs, but oh, you're a male. Okay, cool. But it is. And I think to myself, like, do I want to even, first of all, they're afraid of me because they'll take one look at my content and be like, oh my God, she's a devil, may the power of Christ compel you, you know, but I just don't find them interesting. For the most part, like, I don't find them interesting anymore. There's a part of me that's like, if I were to keep interviewing them, unless they are actually interesting, like a Chris Pratt or like a Josh Duhamel again, you know, who they're both great about this stuff. Like, do I even care? Like, do we care what they think? And like, they're all just so up their own assholes of their own groupthink. It's very difficult. And it's obviously only gotten worse. Like, can you imagine if I was still out there and trying to have these conversations? Like, there's no way. They would be like, we hate ICE, but call them to get her out of here. Like, call the SWAT team because she is a thought criminal and she has dissent of thought. But yeah, it's bad. And I don't even think like, even with this episode, I don't know. It's just all in the fact that like being pro-Israel seems to be now synonymous with like pro couldn't give a fuck about Palestinian life, take them all out again. Like, nobody said that. So with that all said, like I said, I have a little glimmer of hope for this future of, you know, Hollywood, no matter how political they're getting, no matter how ignorant they're increasingly becoming. I did see a quote from Dave Bautista, who I believe I've interviewed. Actually, he's a Guardians of the Galaxy star, I believe, and he's done a lot of movies. And he said in a new interview, and I thought this kind of goes with all of this, like with freedom and also just kind of having common sense and being above the bullshit and also just having joy in our lives. And again, back to that crucial like freedom, you know, what his business and what we're talking about, like what it's all supposed to be. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be so offended literally just by me breathing. He said in a new interview that he's had enough of being on these sets and hearing bitching, complaining, moaning, and groaning. And he's basically like, I'm not going to do it anymore. Like, I'm sitting I want to actually enjoy my life. Thank you. I don't want to jump off, like swan dive into traffic today. And I thought that is so true. And he said, just being happy. Like, I just want to be happy to be there. And with all of this, like complaining about identity politics and like geopolitics, but like they maybe not even they don't have any business knowing about, right? And just also the entitlement culture, guys, with all of this, like in the comments, in the protests in the street with Hollywood, it's like, my opinion is right. My opinion is the end all be all. Like, you need to hear it. Or if not, I'm offended, bitching, complaining, moaning, groaning, like as if it's fact, like, man, exactly what he said, like so entitled. And so go into your weekend. I know it has been a rough run. Thank God Hamas hasn't caught wind of this just yet. Not only because I absolutely dragged them, because like I said, I did this whole episode in my underwear. But go places and put yourself in situations like a Dave Bautista, like in a world of Mark Ruffalo's, be a Dave Bautista and be above the bullshit and just be happy to be there. We all deserve that. So I am happy that you all chose to be here on your Friday night. You guys are awesome. I love you. Enjoy Rob's show. It is coming up next at the top of the hour, and I will see you guys on Monday. Good night. Chris, how was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you on TikTok.
Random baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
But I too am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
Around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor.